Hello and welcome to Commodity Champions. I'm Manisha Gupta. Well, whether it's about festivals, weddings, family gatherings to late night cravings, khane ke baad and sometimes khane se pehle, from jalebi to rasgulla and rabdi to malpuas, well, India's sweet affair with mithais has evolved to include baked gulab jamuns, figs barfi, millet laddus and much more. Well, the big guys of the mithai industry tell us that while the namkeen or savory market sees demand all year long, 70% of the overall sweets industry volumes happen during the festival season. And demographics play a strong role, with North India topping the mithai demand with almost 35% market share. East India follows with 28% market share. West India accounts for almost 24% of all the mithai that is consumed, and South India for 13%. Well, the India sweet market is 90% unorganized and just about 10% organized. But the growth of industry has been on the stronger side. From a 40,000 crore rupees industry in the year 2015, the India mithai market was in 2021 at 58,900 strong and estimated to grow to almost 84,300 crores by the time it's 2025. Did you know that Son Papri commands a 21% market share in traditional markets, second only to milk-based sweets at 28%? The dry fruit market sweets also seems to be garnering market interest and share and stands at a tall 17%. Well, the milk-based sweets market was rupees 1570 crores in 2021 and is expected to be at rupees 2720 crores by 2025. The dry fruit market is a growing market as well. It was at rupees 950 crores in 2021 and is expected to be at 1570 crores in 2025. And then there is packaged sweets market in country that has been growing along at rupees 6,229 crores in 2023, with a forecast that by the time it's 2030, this market would have reached a valuation of 25,970 crores. Well, the India food and beverage packaging industry also is growing by a 15.8 or rather 14.8% annually and is expected to reach $86 billion in 2029, following rapid urbanization, rising disposable incomes, and evolving consumption patterns. And then there is chocolates, cookies, frozen dessert, bakery industries, all eyeing and vying for stock season this festival. Well, to talk about all of that and the festival demand, joining us now is Hemant Malik. He's Executive Director at ITC. Mr. Malik, hi. Thank you for joining us on the show. First of all, what is your sense on the sales and the volumes of the company during the festival season?
Yes, it is festival season. We are looking for some bright spots in the market. There are two things which one sees which happens. If you were to look at the staples portfolio, I don't see much of a difference that happens because it's a consistent portfolio through the year. However, during festive season, we see a significant uplift for gifting products. And we have developed a range of gifting solutions for high-end chocolates under our brand Febel. We've also launched a mid-price chocolate brand under Fantastic, because we also felt that Febel was too premium and there is a market at the mass premium end that we can target through a new brand Fantastic, and we are launching a range of products under that. At the same time, every year we have always found a big pickup that happens on our dark fantasy range of biscuits, and every year we try to look at what kind of new packaging we can add to attract the consumer. So we are all geared up for the coming festive season.
Well, that's all about the sweet offerings. But Mr. Malik, you've also launched a new offering called Right Shift. Can you tell us more about it? I do understand that it is targeted more towards 40 and 45-year-olds plus.
So I think, we are very excited about this new entry that we have made. And, this is for the 45 plus audience, an audience that, I am certainly very much close to. And many people, and what you find today is that this 45 plus audience feels as young as ever. They are looking at, they have achieved economic independence. So food cost as a total cost is very, very small. But the big concern, they want to live life in their own terms. All that is fine. But the big concern that they have, of course, is around health. right? Because, how are you going to make sure that your health span continues to be as good as it was in your younger years? But the reality is that this is one aspect true to living as you age. If post 30, almost 3 to 5% reduction in muscle mass happens every 10 years. And post 40, almost 5 to 10% reduction in bone density happens every decade. There are changes which take place in your gut microbiota. There is an aspect which happens in terms of metabolism slowing down, as well as appetite. So these are realities. Now, the question is in terms of how do you solve for that? And I think what we have done is we have brought a range of products under a brand, the right shift, to address this audience, and not from selling supplements. Because we also found, we studied we spoke to 4,000 consumers of this age cohort, and they're not very interested to look at supplements as a solution, but they go back in terms of what can be the food solutions that can be healthy and address the needs of this audience.
Oh, well, absolutely. Mr. Malik, the health needs is one part of it. And of course, nutrition is quite important. But do you think the combination of taste with nutrition is something that you worked on? And does that work?
I think you cannot sell a product if it is not tasty, a food product. So that is the key. And what we did was, in our product philosophy, we followed a principle of control, alt, delete. What is it that we can control? So, in terms of, do you control the amount of sodium and therefore the salt intake? Do you control the amount of sugar that needs to go in, right? Do you can control the amount of sat fat that is to be done? We looked at the alternates, right? Control alternate was in terms of, instead of sugar, we are using jaggery. Instead of normal white salt, we are using pink salt. Instead of processed grains, we are using whole grains. And the third is in terms of what do we make sure that we have deleted from this portfolio. So there are no preservatives, there will be no added color, there will be no artificial flavors, there will be no maida in the portfolio. So that has been the philosophy. But to do all this and to still make sure that your product is tasty has been the product development challenge. And I'm sure once you taste these products, you will be quite happy with that.
Well, I'm already looking forward to that, and especially in this festival season where you, in any case, are eating all those mithais. But Mr. Malik, what are the growth prospects within this segment? I do understand that health as a category really seems to be doing quite well, especially with all those innovations. But what are the numbers that you're working with?
So I think this question of health has also been evolving. A few years back, you could simply say this is health food, right? And there were certain categories which were seen to be healthy. You could have the category of the milk food drinks. You could have had category of juices, and certain spaces that were, or dairy were deemed to be seen to be healthy. But there are questions which come up about in terms of amount of sugar that it has. And therefore, today, when we look at the consumer, they are looking for health in everything that they're eating, right? And you need to therefore look at what is it that I can call out for. Even if I'm having a snacks, is it got some extra protein in it? And therefore, can I look at this space itself and say, how do I make the difference? So we believe, therefore, there is a role of health in every aspect of the portfolio. And this is the fastest growing segment, provided you are making sure that you are giving taste to the product. And it is also important to call out what that difference is in your product from a health perspective, and how does it meet the consumer's need. So from a size perspective, I think if the food market is 400,000 crore, I would say at least 20% is a market size that we can look at.
So, Mr. Malik, while you have addressed the 45 plus with the new health category that you've launched, the youngsters now also are a very evolved lot. They want to know what they're eating, what nutrition it has. How are you looking at that or catering to that segment?
So I think the first part of the question, in terms of youngsters too, are looking for products which have got health connotations, and it's not something. But there are many of our brands that address that need. Recently we have we very soon will be acquiring Yoga Bar, and that is a brand which is targeted to this younger generation, trying to give give healthy food, and that's what everybody is doing, right? And therefore we felt that this 45 plus audience is somehow getting ignored, and their needs are slightly different, and that's how this the brand right shift has come into play.
All right. So what is more in the pipeline coming in from ITC? You've told us already that yoga bar is something that you're looking to acquire. Is there more quest for more healthy food continue?
So, from an acquisition perspective, we are constantly looking at opportunities, and it takes time to evaluate what is the right fit for you. But as always, there are discussions which are taking place. From a portfolio perspective, in fact, even in the snacking range, very soon we will be launching pop chips. They are, again, a lot of time goes in terms of making sure that what you get are very, very tasty. And bingo pop chips should be launched very soon. We are continuously, I think we recently launched atta with millets. That's one big space that we are finding a lot of interest in millets. There's a little confusion in terms of how you consume millets. So therefore, we actually created a multi-millet mix, which you can add it to your idli batter, you can add it to your dosa batter, you can add it to your paratha, you can add it to your chapati, and you can still get the benefit of having millets in your regular products. So there is a whole slew of products that we are constantly working on.
Clearly, Mr. Malik, from right shift to millets to yoga bars and various other things that you're adding in your portfolio, especially this festival season. So we absolutely look forward to that. And thank you so much for joining us here and sharing on what the festivals look like to ITC right now. But with that, we are heading into a short break. Don't go anywhere. We speak to Manoj Verma of Bikaji Foods International and Anjan Chatterjee of Specialty Restaurant when we return. Welcome back. You're watching Commodity Champions, and we continue to deep dive into India's sweet market. Let us now take a look at the changing consumer trends. I am joined by Manoj Verma. He is COO of Bikaji Foods International. Mr. Verma, hi, thank you so much for joining us. And the festive greetings to you. India's Mithai market is a very big one, and there has been a growing trend of healthy Mithai category, as we were discussing with ITC as well. How do you see this trend shaping with the festive season beginning, and what are you offering into the market this time?
I think you rightly said, the festive season is round the corner. We're very excited as a manufacturer, as a brand, because this is the opportunity, this is the time that during this festive times itself, we sell about 70% of full year sweets, during this 3-4 months only. So these are big months for us. Of late, what we have also seen and witnessed, that there's a shift, say 5-10 years back, what consumers moved from sweets, traditional sweets, to chocolates and other stuff, which we see it coming back. So therefore, amongst consumers, shoppers, and the trade, there's quite an excitement. In terms of healthy sweets, if you talk about, so I think these are antinoms, one would say. But otherwise, if you look at the sweets like rasgulla, which is purely chena, so it's not a bad mithai. It's not bad for health, of course, with sugar, which again is a healthy to a certain extent. So that's what we have. Besides this, there are a variety of sweets, so which is more of delicacies and all this stuff.
Absolutely. The Indian market, Mr. Verma, its affinity to sweets is only increasing over the years. How would you look at the overall market and the growth that you've seen per annum?
Yeah, that's what we have witnessed. If you look at in India, it's about still 90% of sweets business is unorganized, right? So these mithai wala, sweet shop and all, it's only about 10-11% which is organized. Now, all the organized players are working towards getting this share. So the growth would be both organic and inorganic. That's what it is. And I think this business is poised at a growth of, a double-digit growth year on year. That's what we expect.
All right, so double-digit growth coming in for the sweets market. But over the years, there also has been many variations and experiments on Indian mithais. A lot of new premium ingredients have been added to some categories. How are you looking at these trends?
You're right to a certain extent, but then I think that's just icing on the cake. Today, if you look at mithai, majorly the mass mithai still is the son papri, which has a longer shelf life and reasonably much cheaper than the ones you're talking about. So for the masses is this, yes, for the niche stuff, these are the stuff which is coming up. More than this, baklava is like, is very much spoken about, but that's just the icing on the cake at this point in time.
Oh, well, absolutely. From a son papdi to baklava, it's a big mithai market. But Mr. Verma, at present, what are your company's Bikaji's offerings and what are the new trends that you're seeing? What are people buying and what new stuff are you creating? Are you keeping inventories as well?
See, inventory you cannot create beyond a point because this has a shelf life, right? And all consumers or even the gifters would want to look at fresh stock. So therefore, it is like, and when we say fresh sweets, it's most of it that we try and do that stuff. Yes, we are looking at good growth this year. And during our discussions with our trade partners, modern trade format outlets, they're very positive about it and looking for a good Diwali this time. So our teams are working on the full capacities. In fact, above capacities is what they're trying to deliver on this stuff. For us, the largest selling mithai is Son Papdi, followed by Rasgulla and then Gulab Jamun. And thereafter is a long tail, wherein on premium side, if you look at is Kaju Mithai, Kaju Katlis and all, then Laddus, all that stuff. So that's where the business, this is how it stacks up.
You talked about e-commerce and quick commerce, and that is rapidly picking up pace. Your business, packaged sweets, are also picking pace. Any numbers that you can give us on how these segments are performing?
See, I'm sorry, I'll not be able to, talk about numbers at this point in time. But then certainly, as I said, that industry, what we expect would be growing at more than, in a double-digit growth, and our growth would be higher than the category growth. That's for sure.
All right, that's amazing to know, Mr. Verma. Thank you so much for joining us on CNBC TV 18. Let us now connect with Anjan Chatterjee, CMD of Specialty Restaurants. Anjan, hi, happy festivities to you too. And how would you look at the growth of the Indian mithai market? And within that, how would you see the health market category opening up?
As you know that this business of mithai is something which is never, in spite of the millennials not participating fully into it, it will continue to be there. It's a bottomless pit. So the fact that the sanskar, the kind of ethos that you have with mithai, the puja, the kind of culture which we have, Hindu or Indian culture, sorry, it's the wrong word of being Hindu, Indian culture, even in any other culture, it continues to be an important part of the whole religious area. Besides that, people actually are shocking of mithai. People continue to, in spite of the fact that diet mithai, sugar-free, XYZ, it is a consumption pattern which has not gone down. Year on year, for example, we've grown 14%. So 14% growth has come in year on year. So that's double digits. Some people may be doing more. So in our case, we have seen that people are preferring this to be, they want this to be kept, the shelf life should be increased. So we are working very, very closely with microbiologists and people who can guide us in terms of, food technologists who can guide us that how our sweets can be kept in the shelf for a longer period of time. So that's the biggest challenge. But I don't see any reason that mithai is something which is going to overnight be replaced by anything else that includes chocolates, in spite of the biggies also trying to say that kuch meetha ho jaye. Fantastic, great job. You've shifted people, adults, from chocolate, from children eating from there to adults eating. But mithai is a rock solid business, and we had not taken it earlier very, very seriously. Now it's a vertical. It's in Bombay, Pune, we're doing Bangalore and Hyderabad, and then we are also doing Delhi for that matter, because we know that Bengali sweets are benchmark, and in that benchmark, we want to be the best in class, and there's no organized player which is in this area, and we want to expand this.
And then I hear you, but we also are seeing a trend of fusion in Bengali sweets itself. There's baked rasgullas and a gulab jamun cake. And are you also innovating? Are you also moving in that direction?
We already got baked rasgulla. In fact, we are the first ones to get into an area of baked rasgulla. See, it's an old wine in new bottle. So the fact that people who are contemporary, who want, and there's a lot of combination of bakery and sweets, Bengali sweets and bakery. So we've got a new variety, new section altogether, which is talking to a new generation, more of the chocolates being added and their ganache. And there's one bakery, one of the experts has been taken in to do that combination, and a very intelligent fusion, not confusion. We want to do an intelligent fusion so that you don't alienate the basic taste, the honesty of the Bengali sweet, but still you have some value addition coming in, which makes it modern in terms of perception.
I like that. No confusion, only good infusion. Anjan, also the tagline that grown-ups and millennials are using today is that the sweets should be delicious, but also nutritious and low sugar. Will you say there's a lot of global influence as well coming into the Indian markets?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Tremendous. See, this is the Insta world. There's nothing which is hidden. Every day, you're getting something or the other. There's a feed coming in, and there's a tremendous change it's more dynamic. People are getting more adventurous. The palates are getting adventurous, and there are boutique mithai shops, not here, abroad also. So everything put together. But I can say this to you that this is a very good trend, because food itself has become more virtual in terms of influencing. So all the influencers have become the most important people. So this digital medium which has come in, it's all visual, and people are getting more and more excited. So our life becomes easier, that we can show more and sometimes say less, so that the impulse becomes better.
Yes. Another thing is millets, and that seems to be making inroads into all food categories, including mithai. So you have ragi and jowar and bajra. Those are the new ingredients that people are working with now. What's your sense on this one?
We have already come out with ragi, jawar, both of them. This Ganpati we are doing modaks with millets, and in a very big way, because it's been started by my son Avik, and he's the one who works very, very closely with me, and fortunately he's half my age, so he continues to get into innovation. So we've already come up with good, the real good, the humble good, and also the A2, A1 ghee गाय की जो घी को use करना, and not using inorganic colors. So it's completely out. It used to be there, and now we are absolutely organic in terms of the source. That includes the beetroot juice to get the redness. So all these have been done with the food technology.
All right, beetroot juice to ghee cows, ghee. There's so much happening in mithais, really. Anjan, but what's your vision going forward for the Indian mithai market? How would you picture this segment, let's say, in the next 5 or 10 years?
I don't see that, it going down or going reversing at any given point of time. So it's not just mithai, the snacks. I was just telling this to a friend on another forum, that every region is a country in India. So every region, somewhere Pinni, somewhere you have Doda, somewhere you have Bengali Kheer Kodam, then you have a Rasgulla. All these come together. So we are also working towards modernizing them with a Doda Shandesh, for example. So I don't see any reason. The biggest challenge would be to make it relevant to the millennials. Going forward, अगर आज 25 साल तक ये industry चलेगी, तो हमको ये देखना पड़ेगा कि we'll get these people also motivated, and where we can have monk sugar that we are using. There are a lot of other innovations we are doing to combination of dark chocolates in the ganache. So इसको हमको यही बड़ा challenge होगा, अगर आप 5, 10, 20 साल की बात कर रही हैं, कि it will have to be a combination of things which become relevant to the youngsters, the millennials, when they grow.
Oh, well, absolutely, Anjan. This market is absolutely not going anywhere with the kind of way that we eat traditional sweets, and, of course, the fusion sweets as well, which have been incoming. So it's a big sweet market that India has, and festival season sees 70% of volumes. And, of course, it's a double-digit growth percentage industry on a year-on-year basis as well. So that is something to watch out for. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Commodity Champions. News continues on CNBC TV 18. Stay tuned.